Welcome back to another Johnny Legg fragrance review. First of all, thank you ever so much for coming back. It is much appreciated. I do appreciate you. If you can, please, if you can click on subscribe and the thumbs up, once again, I would really appreciate that, and I thank you very much. Right. Okay. If you're looking for a real in-depth, serious look at fragrance, you're probably in the wrong place. This is more of a light-hearted thoughts, ideas thing about fragrance. Maybe I'll help you, maybe I'll just point you in a slightly different direction than what you're normally used to, and maybe you might find a fragrance which I've found and maybe advise you to try it. Okay. Right. Okay, so scent. You know what? I've come to the conclusion, the same way as all day long we're using our eyes and we're analysing what we see, and our ears we're analysing what we hear, in the same way we are constantly analysing what we smell. To the point where I reckon, and this is only my theory, I reckon if you were to take someone like the little yellow Google Map man and drop them into one of their familiar surroundings, you know, whether it's their kitchen or their bathroom or their bedroom or their place of work or a shop that they visit regularly or their college, university, a place of worship, wherever it is, I reckon if you were to drop them blindfolded into that place, I reckon within a few minutes they'd be able to say, you know what, I'm in my bedroom, it's the bedroom smell, or I'm in my college, it smells like college. Okay, so smell, really important. We're talking about fragrance. We're talking about the fragrance that we can wear on this channel. You know, what maybe defines us, what other people are going to make of what we smell like, or maybe what we want to smell like just for our own benefit. Okay, now we're going to look at one fragrance tonight. One really important, one absolutely amazing fragrance. Okay, I'm actually going to use the word gorgeous. This is a gorgeous fragrance. Breaking these teeth in for a camel. Whew. Right, okay, so I think I need to tell a story. I'll try and keep it short, don't worry. So, this fragrance has got essentially two layers. It's got a gorgeous, gorgeous base layer, and then it's got a top layer. When you spray it on, what you don't get, or what you scarcely get, is the base layer. You just get the top layer. Right, story time. Right, so you go to a party, or maybe a wedding, or some kind of social event, and you're surrounded by all your friends. Okay, at some point you sort of catch the eye of a girl. She's not in your group of friends, she's at the other side of the room, and you quickly look away because she's actually looking at you. Okay, and you have a cheeky look back to see if she's looking at you again, but there's a crowd of people and you can't actually see her again. That happens a couple of times during the evening. Now obviously there's a lot of people in this room and the DJ's playing the music, and you keep getting little glimpses, and she's looking at you, you're looking at her, but you haven't quite got the confidence to go and see her or speak to her, and she hasn't got the confidence to come and speak to you. But there's that sort of, you're sort of almost building up a rapport, even though you don't actually know her. The party hits its peak and there's so many people there, the music is on, and you only get a few glimpses. But you're fairly sure you'd like to go and talk to her if you had the confidence. However, the party sort of peaks, and then you tend to find that people start going home, disappearing. And as there's less people in the room, you're actually able to see this girl, and you think, you know what, I'd love to sort of go and talk to her, but maybe a bit embarrassed, maybe not quite confident enough, but you know, okay. Crazy thing happens, okay. You eventually find yourself everyone else has gone. The DJ has stopped the music, he's packing up his kit, and you're suddenly aware that there's just you and that girl left in the room. Okay. And there's that awkward moment, and you sort of, you look at her and she looks at you and you think, and then there's that moment where you start walking towards each other, as we've been looking at each other all evening, but it's actually time to go and talk to her, and you walk towards her, she walks towards you, and you sort of meet in the middle, and an amazing thing happens. You sort of instantly bond, and you sort of offer her your arm, and she links up with your arm, and you leave that room together. Okay. Enough story time. Why have I told you that story? Well, it's a bit like this fragrance. Let's reveal the fragrance. It's made by one of my favourite brands, Atkinsons, and it's called The Other Side of Old. In my personal opinion, it's cheap, horrible, tacky packaging. It's not a cheap fragrance. The retail price is about £165. You can get it discounted to about £100. Okay, if you shop around. Right. Why did I tell that story about this fragrance? Right, there's two layers. There's the gorgeous, smooth, creamy vanilla with a hint of citrus and a dash of cinnamon base layer. Now that base layer comes with the dry down. In other words, when it's been on your skin for a little while. But above that, and almost completely blocking it at the start, is a mass of other notes. Obviously there's oud in there. Obviously there's a bit of lavender, and there's spices and that sort of thing. But they're almost completely blocking that base layer. Do you know what? You spray this on and you get tiny little hints of that creamy vanilla base layer. And they come and they go, and you sort of, oh, it's gone. Because the other notes crowd it. It's almost like whoever put this together came up with the base, this gorgeous base, but disguised it with all these other notes on top. Almost as a protection for it. To maybe distract your nose, to fool you. Now I get, when people smell this as it's first sprayed, they sort of go, "Whoa, that's a little bit weird. It's a little bit old-fashioned. It's a little bit herbal." Do you remember those tablets? I think they were called Gray's herbal tablets. Those horrible sugary tablets that you could suck and it gave you sort of a clear nose and whatever. It reminds me a little bit of those on the top. Okay. Now I get why people sort of stand back and say, "Oh no, it's not for me." 27 minutes and 3 seconds into wearing this, I'm kidding, I didn't really time it, but around about that sort of time into wearing this, all those confusing cover notes have gone, just like all the people at the party, and you're left with the most gorgeous dry down I have ever smelt. Okay, creamy, vanilla-y, hint of citrus, dash of cinnamon, dry down. And you know what? It is worth waiting for. I'm not saying the top notes are no good or they don't do their job. They do. They intrigue you. And they give you a little glimpse of the base note, but just to get your interest. For me personally, I was a massive fan of Chanel Allure, the original, not the Sport Extreme, not the Blanche edition, the original Chanel Allure when it first came out. And you know what? The base of this is about 95% the same as the original Chanel Allure. The top reminds me a little bit of Dior Homme Intense Eau de Parfum. which is one of my favourites. Once the top's gone, you're left with a base, which is a base that you will want to last forever. And it does. It lasts well. It projects well, but once those top notes have gone, the projection becomes less, but you enjoy, and people close to you will enjoy, that creamy vanilla bass. Okay, I love this fragrance. It was kind of love at first sniff, and I can't get enough of it. So Atkinsons is the make. The other side of Ode is what this one is called. Don't be fooled by the cheap, horrible bling packaging. It's a quality, it's amazing, it lasts well, it projects well, and the dry down is the most ultimate dry down I've ever smelt. Okay. Right, okay. Thank you for listening. Thank you for putting up with me. I'm sorry it's gone on so long. In fact, I need to tell you about a condition I've got. I've got this thing called verbal diarrhea. Okay, I open my mouth and it just pours out. So I'm sorry about that. I hope you put up with that, and I hope you click on thumbs, and I hope you give me a subscribe, and I hope you come back for the next one for a light-hearted look at fragrance. Enjoy your day, stay safe, and see you next time. Thank you.